right, so then we did a speed dating event. And the speed dating event was so fun because it was with a bunch of people in the room for my speech that then participated in the speed dating event. And so there was 4 chairs leaning facing this way and 4 chairs facing this way. So I was here, R was here, another one of our friends was on this side, and then a girl was on this side, and we had 4 gentlemen in front of us. And we had a few minutes each to have a conversation with who was in front of us. And it was really lovely because I saw these like kind of like nervous like younger guys just look like they had like the biggest like light in their eyes because they were like, they get to talk to it like a girl or me, whoever, for like a few minutes. And I, you know, of course, like that time's dedicated, like I'm not running away, you know? And so I saw them so much more comfortable too. They didn't look as nervous, even though they were like, excited. They didn't look as nervous. And so basically I got to talk to each and every one of them. So I had 4 dates. One of them was already aware of me. So he's seen my vlogs and stuff already. He called me his favorite vlogger when he saw me in the sauna. And then the other 3, all 3 of them came to the club that night to see me. And statistically, I didn't think that was likely, but maybe that's just because, maybe that's why they came on and played the game. I don't know. But basically it was really cool because I got to meet people who literally like saw me on YouTube, went to the club, took a risk, braved their night to come for their first time and see the club that night. And so I got to meet them, I got to talk to them, I got to, fist pump them and hear their story. And one of them even pulled out his cell phone and showed me his watch history on YouTube to prove that he had actually binge watched my videos that day. So it's a true story. One of the people I dated, one of the speed daters, my fans, said that he had literally just found me on YouTube earlier that day, like just that day. And that's, he showed me, he watched my etiquette videos, a couple story time videos, things like that. And so he's like, it's really kind of crazy that I'm like now like suddenly like meeting you. And I was like, yeah, it really kind of is. And I told him that in my first threesome video, which I do have a link for and I can put it in the description, my first ever threesome video, I also was spiritually pushed to it in the sense of like I had a sign and I was like pushed to it. So I was like, yeah, man, maybe you're supposed to be here. Like obviously I didn't want to fulfill his full fantasy and just like open my legs right then and there for him. But it was nice enough to just have a couple minutes talking to him. And then we did even talk outside after and stuff. So that was one of them. The other guy, he was a young guy. He said he had turned 19 4 days ago. Super, super thin, nice suit. In a sex club like Oasis, you don't see a lot of suits, but you know what? He looks sharp, whatever. He was excited to meet me. He was a fan too. I got to hear his story. He was a culturally conservative background. He just turned 19. He's breaking free and like, he's at a sex club. Like he was so excited. This guy is the guy that then while I was busy doing something else, took on a platonic tour upstairs. So basically the 3rd floor is where a lot of sex happens, but the single men are not allowed up there unless they have a female with them. And so R was doing a very nice social duty that night, and she was taking guys, friendly guys, like upstairs to give them a tour and then bring them back down, right? And so she was bringing this guy upstairs for a tour when they happened to go past a couple that invited him in. And he just like apparently ripped off his suit. Like he's like, yes, like he's like, I'm ready. And then I happened to be up there with another fan, a female fan, and we were doing a tour because she hadn't really seen a lot of the place yet. She was kind of new and a little intimidated on her own. And so I brought her up to watch some of the sex. And so we got to see this guy like just like pounding this girl over here, doing such a good job. And then eventually like I air high-fived him and like we all talked after and it was really great. So that was really cool. And I talked to a few other fans and they were all just the most nice gentlemen who were sweet and looked happy to have someone to engage with. And I was very proud of them for making the trip to Oasis. So that was the speed dating event. After that, we kind of I smoked some much needed weed, had a different time. It started to rain a little bit, which kind of did put a damper on the night. But it was one of those nights that we ended up sitting out till 2 a.m. in the pool, letting the rain drip down our faces a little bit. That wasn't that bad because the chat was so fun and engaging. And the night was so good socially that none of us wanted to be anywhere else other than in that rainy pool. So cheers to the friend that I met. I don't know if I can mention her name, so I'm not going to, but she's going to be with me a few times. She's a woman fan that I've seen a few times now. We just ended up in the pool with R and a few other people just chatting about life and healing and, everything. And in that environment and a pool, it was wonderful. So I have to say I left that night knowing that I had met people who had taken a risk for themselves to come to the club and put themselves out there to have their first experience, and I'm proud of them for coming on that night, especially the ones who came for my event, because that was the whole point, was to get people off the fence who wanted to be there. I even had people contact me in my Instagram asking for hotel recommendations so that they could come for that experience. I didn't realize that people really like wanted it so badly, but it is something I'll have to talk about doing again as well. So thank you again to the Oasis team for letting me host this meet and greet there. The speech was an absolute thrill. You know, it wasn't a great topic for my personal background, but I think that I did a good job explaining the landscape of dating and in the swinger world, at least, and I think that that's still valuable. So anyways, that's my story time. Thank you so much for listening. I'm starting a podcast. I've already posted my first episode on my other YouTube channel. There is a link to that in the link in my description as well. I have like a link tree thing that basically has all my social media. But basically, I'm starting a podcast, and it's going to be a mix of content, new content, and some of the old story times kind of refurbished in a way, you know. So I'm not an audio engineer. I'm not kind of figuring out all the bumps yet on my own. But hopefully I'll be able to sort it out soon. But I'm gonna get a few episodes done before I really publicly announce it, because I want to make sure it's something that's gonna keep going. But yes, I've already started recording, and there's gonna be lots more exciting things coming.